All right, traders, it is the 29th of June 2017. My name is Jameson. Welcome to Behringer Trading. We are looking at the same vertical bar chart of the S&P Mini Futures that I shared yesterday. So we have, what do markets do? Markets are either in a trading range or they're trending, and we can appreciate both. So we have this broad kind of trading range, and then we rally up, we rally into the upper trend line, we trade laterally, and then we continue to do so. So we can appreciate that the trends or the up thrusts are starting to shorten. But we can also appreciate that, so these cluster trades here are 100,000 or greater. So I think it's important to note that as dramatic as today was, there was no gross emergence of these cluster trades. So I would still define these levels here as support. And it looks like we actually closed above this key level here. So I continue to think, for several reasons, that this is an important level. I might suggest that if this is a distributive structure for Wyckoff, that this would be preliminary supply, right? Then we have this buying climax, automatic reaction, secondary test. Here's an upthrust, here's an upthrust. This would be a sign of weakness because it goes below the automatic reaction that's here. So that's supply overcomes demand that's present. Then we rally higher, there's no follow through, that's bearish, but then we close off low. So if this had actually closed below the preliminary supply, hands down I would tell you this is bearish. However, I have been adamant that we've been undergoing some bullish absorption, some reaccumulation. I think there's some liquidity issues, and obviously on these big down waves, bulls are able to absorb the supply from weak hands. Very difficult to not have a bias, remain open-minded, and then try to understand what's going on here. So very challenging. I will say that we're remaining above this block trade. We actually traded into the lower trend line of the bullish ascending channel. So this is a counter trend or kind of a correction through the lateral, this lateral trading activity to give bulls an opportunity to participate in this longer uptrend here and lower their risk buying support. So I am reluctantly going to say that I continue to think that we're going to find support around here, which I believe was the 50-day simple moving average, and yet again rally into this upper trend line of the bullish ascending channel, which will put us, I think the highest target I have is 256, so it'll put us into 253. Now I think that the market, the indexes are good sentiment indicators. In other words, they help us find opportunities in equities and common stock trades. So if we think the market continues to trend bullishly, then we want to find stocks that we think are basing, that are under accumulation, and place trades that are going to transition from an accumulation to a markup and participate or place trades harmonious with what the indexers are doing. When they're in trading ranges like this, it's not advantageous to actually place trades. That's why I've shared the VXV, the VIX ratio that I have, is because a couple times a year there actually are some asymmetrical advantageous opportunities that present for option traders to actually trade SPY a little bit more aggressively. Otherwise, it's just very easy to get washed out here on the day-to-day action that we have. So we do have, the prior downward session here. We actually did have a very big selling delta that was present. We can appreciate on today's session it was a little less aggressive, but volume was a little greater. So it looks like we had some supply, but I will note that the close today was higher than the close of the previous bearish session. So that might actually be bullish. So again, it's pretty indecisive. But this is a key area here, and this key area is at 24.1525. So we have to be bullish above that level. We have to be bullish above that 50-day simple moving average that we touched today. And we have to be bullish above this lower trend line of the bullish ascending channel that's present. Additionally, here's a footprint chart. So this is an hourly footprint chart, and I did a quick video today showing that there is a retest of highs and there is no demand on the retest. We can see that on the auction process, right, on bids and asks. So here's the bids, here's the ask, that there is actually no more buyers here. So we can appreciate that the auction process had ended, and then we started this markdown. So why is that important? Because we actually broke down, and we can see here in this breakdown there's a huge selling imbalance, we can see here, and then we retest it here. But here on this, on this session here, there's actually some buyers, but we can see that the auction process is incomplete. So I think that we may rally back in into this area, but I think that we're going to break back down and have to retest this area because the auction is incomplete. So it's going to kind of essentially create a train range as present. And if we just revisit the daily chart here, this one's a little bit easier to see. We're finding support along the mean of the Keltner channels that's here. We can see that there's the cumulative negative delta has taken some risk that's off. Volume's expanding on this pullback, but again, I think it's important to note that we're finding support here. So this is a prior level resistance, and this prior level resistance at the present time is being confirmed as support. I think that's the most important observation that's present yet. Regardless of what people think is going on right now, we are testing this prior level resistance, and as of now, it is support.